Okay, so welcome guys to the You Were Born Rich Mastermind group. And this is week 4 now, is it now? Jesus, it's flying past for me. This is really where we start hitting the good stuff here. We've got like the beginning of the chapters are like almost like the basics, the foundation building blocks. And as we move more forward into the program, we start using them to really push us and enhance everything. And if we take the reason why I've done it every week by week, I'm not just giving the whole course and over the course of 10 days or a couple of weeks, is because if you start, they're all quite big ideas to implement a lot of these to actually into your life. I mean, a lot of the ideas as well are fantastic to do, and to look at them and think, yeah, that's a really good idea, I'm going to start using that. But to really create a habit for yourself, it takes at least a week of doing it, every day with your affirmations or with your goal setting or how you're using your language or any of the things that have been shown recently. It takes about a week to really get your habits going and getting used to the ideas, because otherwise you'd have a really good presentation over the 10 chapters. You say, oh, it was really good, lots of value, but then within a few weeks it wouldn't actually be implemented. You'd not actually be able to imply all the ideas as well that are actually coming at you. So it is, we're starting to get into the really nitty gritty stuff now, which I'm excited about. The first chapter, me and money, which is your version of success. What wealth is to you. I mean, we use money very loosely in a You Were Born Rich term. And what I mean by that is it's very relatable to everybody. How much money do you want to have? Everyone can kind of imagine a picture, but it's more like what's your version of success? Where do you see yourself, and what is a lot of money to you, and what do you want? So we've been through that. We've set how much money, what is enough, how much is enough. This is how to set goals as well. Where you actually want to be specifically. And I use specifically quite a lot as well moving forward, because the more detailed you've got of an idea, the better you're going to go. The example of being in a ship, and if you set off for America, you're going to get there. But if you set off to hit New York, you're going to get there as well. You're going to the same country, but the more specific you are, the more you're going to get to exactly what you want, not just a bigger picture. And that's why clarity is important as well. And the image maker, the creative faculty. I mean, I know a lot of people who struggle with the creative side and thinking about goals in the future. But it is just a case of practicing. A lot of people just live in the moment and don't look forward too much into the future. They don't plan too far ahead. But as you say, ideas, once you start repeating it again and again, it becomes easier. And it's like riding the bike. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's the creative faculty as well. So now we're on to making sure we're getting the most out of the chapters. To all you guys listening as well, this is the key to actually doing it, is implementing the ideas that we're actually learning week by week. The imagination is powerful, and the more you actually play around with ideas and figure out your own ways of how to implement the ideas as well. You have your own affirmations and your own goals and how you look at your goals as well. Imagination is the key. Logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. So you can take these ideas on and mold them into your own script, and then you'll learn how to really have your own life. And change your own life as powerfully as you can. And keeping a journal of your good and your bad days and good ideas that come through, to really learn from your past experiences. Because I look back now, months and months ago, and even like a year ago when I was writing my journals, and it was very negative, down. I was looking for a certain amount of things, and ideas were coming to me. And now, as I've written them down and looked at them and looked back at them over time, like the ideas and goals I'd set, I've actually achieved, and I'm living in that life. And now my goals are further along. And it's good to keep a check with a journal to see how far you have come, because a lot of the time you don't even realise it. You're having a rough day and you think, oh, let's just go have a look through what I've got here. And it's like a journal, you're like, oh my God, I've actually come a long way. I'm really moving into where I need to be. So it's a good building block to see how far things are coming along for myself. And to first do something must become something, And that's the internal, your self-image. What do you want to actually be before you think, what am I going to actually do? I want to have a good business. Okay, well, what do you need to become before you have a good business? You need to implement, this confidence. You need to work on your speech. You need to work on affirmations and have a really good plan, and then set out to start doing these things. Otherwise, you'll just find these obstacles in front of you, and you won't expect them. They'll be knocking you down. So you must become the person you want to be before you can start doing the things. Goal cards. This is huge. Bob Proctor uses this, but why? Why is a goal card essential? Why do you think a goal card would be, a really good thing, MJ?
Because you have it in black and white. It's something you could look at and remind yourself and focus on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something, for me, it's paramount. I've got it with me because we can actually get caught up in our own lives, even if something's super important to us that we really want to get done. The 9 to 5 of the job gets in the way. You got to go to the gym. You got to go out and meet your friends. You got to do this, and this. And the important things are kind of going to get done eventually. But once you're always looking at this goal card that's in your wallet, or it's somewhere that you've got close to your hand and you can see every day, but you're repeating the ideas and you really start implementing the ideas in yourself. And like a lot of things do take place once you write something down, as you're aware. When you think of a goal, you're using your imaginative faculty. When you write something down, you're anchoring, a kinesthetic, a feeling emotion to the goal because you physically wrote it, and you can see it as well. So you can see it and you've written it, and if you read it out aloud, that's 3 senses you're actually engaged in this goal. If it's something like with food, you can get your smell factor in there as well. You can go crazy. But all factors you actually engage within goals, the more your body will start remembering them, and you'll start listening out for ideas that can happen. That's a really powerful thing. And you remember it a lot more. If it's there, you're not going to forget specifically what you want to do. If my plan is to get 20 clients by Christmas, if I've got 5 by September, and I think, oh yeah, I'm doing really well, I've got 5 clients, I can look at my goal and think, oh, actually, the goal is to get 20. I need to really up my game. I need to stop settling for what I've got, and really start pushing. And you can see it afterwards, so you can't forget, as I said. Every time you do see it, you do strengthen the idea. It's like just looking at something can create a habit. You don't necessarily have to do something, but just looking at it strengthens the ideas and the process of now brain connections, and you start remembering, and then it's your goal. So this is why a goal card, you don't need to have, one that's made from the shop. All I did was just, got a little plastic wallet and an A4 paper and just write down what my goal was. I'll give you a little example in a minute as that as well. And just put it into my wallet. So now every time I open my wallet, I do see it, and it's just something I've got there. And every 3 months, I'll write a new one or improve on the one I currently have. Here's an example of what a goal card could look like. My goal written in the present tense, because once you say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have, or now that I've become, it makes it more powerful because your body can associate to it a lot more. Instead of, I wish I was an astronaut. If you say to yourself, I wish I was an astronaut, yes, it's a good goal. It's probably exciting for a lot of kids, a lot of even normal people growing up. However, if you say, I'm so happy now that I am an astronaut, you associate a lot more. You imagine, well, what am I doing as an astronaut? And you work a lot more in the physical terms, and you get your senses engaged again. I say when you get your emotions and your feelings engaged, that's when they start going powerfully. So you say, right, by September the 15th, 2015, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have so many clients, have a certain thing you want to achieve, and then look at this over and over again. And then that is like one of the more powerful things even Bob Proctor uses. When you have something written down and you see it every day, it's just really, it's a powerful thing. Write them down if you've already achieved them. The results will amaze you. You'll go into your future self, and you'll associate with subconscious mind as well, to find ways to achieve your goal because you've linked your feelings and emotions to that. I'm sure you're all aware, when you've had something you really need to get done because it's going to affect somebody, like you're going to try and win the race because you really don't like somebody that's in the race the same as you, or if you really want to help somebody because you love them, you do that extra mile because of the feeling that it's engaged with. And that's when it starts becoming powerful. When you engage your feelings, when you're writing your goals, it's the same concept. And it'll make you want to achieve it more as well. So let go and let God. How have you found this chapter, MJ?
It's quite deep, isn't it?
Mm. Mm.
I've read it twice. I think I have to read it a lot more.
Yeah. What sort of things did you take away from it? Did you think that did you find either you thought actually, I could be using this, or what anything that you've taken away from it?
Well, from what I understand of it, you need to have faith in that what you want and what you're working for will come about. And as long as you have that expectation,
Mm.
then it will happen. But you've got to constantly practice the positive thinking and believing that you've already got to where you want to go. Like, when you put on your card, you have to think, I have what I want right now. And it's just about practicing your faith and your confidence in that what you want will come about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone has their own version of how this represents to them with every chapter as well. I mean, what I represent in the presentations is just, how I've come across it. And I say I do speak to John, who works with me on the program. So I've got my own interpretation, which I do kind of go through. But obviously, these affect each other in different ways. So it's great that you've had that experience, MJ, and I'm sure the rest of you all who are listening will have different ideas from this chapter. And Bob Proctor was on the edge of sounding overly religious when he used, the let go and let God. But it's the whole idea of having faith more than anything else. Believing something else is allowing you to get to where you need to be. And I think he knew that he was at risk of coming across as being very religious. And he's a religious man. He believes in God. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I do still understand the concept. That we live by faith and not by sight. Because like I said, the picture on here, it's an example. We know the road's going to go on, so we keep on riding down there. But if we didn't know the road if we were scared that what we couldn't see, we'd be driving very slowly, and it'd be going, it'd be very, very slow. But now we can drive 70 miles an hour, and we know because we believe that the road's going to keep on going. Now, it's a simple example, but it's the same with your life. If you just believe that you're doing the right things and you're going to get to where you need to be, you don't really hold yourself back too much and don't slow down too much because you can get it and you can achieve it. It's just a case of bringing it into its physical manifestation of what you want to achieve. And this is something that this phrase here, it's ever present in all places at all times. It cannot be created or destroyed. It just is. Now, theologians will use the term God. God is ever present in all places at all times. He cannot be created or destroyed. He just is, and he always was. He's always been here, and that's how people that are religious do see it. And now scientists, if you ask them about energy, what is energy? Well, it's ever present in all places at all times. It cannot be created or destroyed. It just is. It's one of them things. So it depends on how you look at this and see faith. This is, one of the most powerful things. It is all around us. Energy is all around us. Or God, if you like, is all around us. Helping us to get to where we need to be. And, our thoughts can create things. So if you believe in something enough, God or energy, or however you want to represent it, will bring it into form because you're making it happen. And we are very powerful beings in ourselves. I mean, look at the planet, what we've created already. It's an unbelievable place. I mean, everything that's in it, we've created ourselves. Even like the internet, and if you really think about it, what we've created is incredible. Like the internet, we're flying around in aeroplanes, just defying gravity, and we're drilling into the ground to get oil that fuel cars that drive around. It's compared to the animal kingdom, it's unbelievable what we've actually been able to achieve. you know, going into space and flying around in space and exploring new planets and developing ideas to go to different planets to, or land on meteors, you know, and asteroids to hunt for rare metals. And it's really incredible, but it's because of the belief that people have they're going to get there. And, you know, that's the powerful, you know, if you believe in something, you get there a lot quicker. You know, never stop learning from everything, you know, it's something that's I love. And I always learn differently as well. Like, for me, I'll just share a little bit of stuff from myself about this last week. Like, I've been trying to read a book a week recently. For quite a while. I was going to build it up to reading a book a day, actually. And a lot of people who would read, like, you know, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Ty Lopez, they read like a book, and a lot of people do read a book a day, and they can learn a lot of information in a short amount of time. So I thought I'll read a book a week. Then I thought to myself, you know, I'm reading all these books, same way like the chapters, you know, that I was explaining earlier on. If I give you all in one sitting, there's only so much you can actually learn. If I read the same book over and over again until I've really started to use the ideas and really learn it, I'm going to learn so much more than reading 5 or 10 books of different categories. Just information overload. So this is just how, you know, with the chapters that we are going on, you know, that's my experience of learning. It is at the minute it's changed, you know, from reading so much to just concentrate on what I am reading and focusing on it and trying to implement it. And the same way with these chapters, the more you, like, I've read really good books like Anthony Robbins or you know, some of these really feel like Bob Proctor or, you know, Napoleon Hill, Jack Canfield, all these really good authors, and they've got some amazing, unbelievable content that's really so valuable. And I'll find that I'm in the moment, I'm learning all this stuff, I'm getting to the end and think, God, that was amazing. I'll put the book back on my bookshelf and I'll read another book. But then, you know, I won't have actually implemented everything that I could have implemented into the book. So really, you know, I didn't really get as much as I could have got out of it. So same with these chapters, you know, go over them again and really learn and really take everything you can out of the chapters. And if you're not sure, you know, read it again and again and again, listen to it again, get different factors engaged. If you're more of a reader, you know, read it 3 or 4 times, listen to it once or twice. Because sometimes when you hear something, it sounds different to when you read something, you pick it up differently. And that's the whole case of these chapters, you know, and you will, you know, it took me a couple of times, like, at first, I understood the idea of this concept, but it took me about 3 or 4 times to listen to it to really understand, oh, okay, I'll try this out, and then it did actually work for me, you know, letting go and letting God, and just having that faith, you know, actually made me do things a lot quicker, and I was really surprised, to be fair. You know, and this is the next thing we got in here, you know. Faith is seeing the light with your heart, and all your eyes see is darkness. You know, what's the difference between will and letting go and letting God? What do you think, MJ? Sorry to put you on the spot with all these questions. They were just me and you, though, so don't feel too pressured.
I don't know, to be honest.
No, I completely understand. Like the will, for me, I mean, it could be different for everyone. Will, for me, is something that we're trying to get done. You know, we're trying to achieve these things. We're trying to do it by, you know, making plans and achieving things and just working really hard to get to where we need to be. But letting go and letting God is just like, you know, for me, I believe that what I'm doing is going to get me where I need to be. So I don't need to worry about forcing it and doing too much stuff. I know that doing certain things every day, and you know, the good value things I know I'm doing. So I don't need to worry too much about trying to fit too much in and trying to do too many things that are going to help me achieve my goals. I don't need to speak to 1 million people. I know if I speak to 5 people a day, or 3 people a day, but a really good conversation, I'm going to get this value, and in 6 months I'm going to be where I need to be. I believe I'm going to get there. Whereas if you're trying to run around and spend all your time, you know, trying to figure out all these different ideas of how to get there as well, and you're just really forcing it and stressing yourself out and using all your energy, yeah, you might get there, but the difference is, you know, having the belief, you get there a lot faster because you're stopping all the ideas that could slow you down. You know, you're not overthinking things sometimes, and I've done that heaps of times. I've overthought something that's quite simple, and I've worked myself into a bit of a rut, and I thought, oh, actually, this is a really easy idea. Why did I try and complicate it too much? You know, just doing the certain things that you need to do to get to your goal, and having that belief that that's going to get you where you need to be, is letting go and letting God and not forcing it. And now that we have, a clear image of what we want, a desire through clarity, like the image maker, and how much, we want to have, what's essential now that we need, because now we've got the tools, we've got our images, we know what we need to get, and we know how to get there through, what we're actually doing in our day-to-day lives. But what else do you think we need to really move forward to our goals, MJ?
And we've got to start physically doing things to achieve the goal.
Yeah, fantastic. Action, movement creates movement, and energy spent is, you're gonna get there. Because you can plan all you want, can't you? But if you don't actually do anything, you're not gonna get there. And that is fantastic. What are we thinking? And action as well, and the belief that what we're gonna do is gonna get there. Belief in many terms, self-belief. That we can actually become this. And once you've got the belief that you can do something, then the action does come. Because we know we can do it. But if there was no belief there, you wouldn't do it anywhere. So I think belief is a slight step before action. Even though you can do things without believing in it, I think that belief, once you've got it in place, you will start moving towards it. Belief, the thing always happens that you really believe in. And the belief in the thing makes it happen. It's a powerful concept. And there are only two limiting beliefs: that you don't deserve it, number one, or that you don't believe that you can pull it off. And that is basically the essence of everything, of what we think we can do in life. There are things that hold us back. Am I correct, MJ?
Yeah, I think definitely number two. I worry about that one.
Yeah.
I think, what if I can't do it?
No, exactly. It is. And sometimes if you just got one of them, that's good, because obviously it's not as much the first one, because that's kind of what we've been talking about. Having that. Of course we deserve it. It's not greed. It's not glutton. It's not anything else. We deserve to have these things. But a lot of people, when writing out big goals that are going to achieve, £1 million lifestyles, they sometimes think they don't deserve it. Why should I know a lot of people who say, I don't want to become rich. And you look at them and it makes them feel awkward, because they probably inside don't think they deserve it, because, they're just a normal person. If you don't think you deserve something and you don't think you can pull it off, it's just so limiting for yourself, and it so holds you back. And these are two beliefs, and once you get over it, literally, once you get over these two beliefs, you can do anything. Because you can believe you can do anything, and you know that you deserve to achieve it. You may succeed if no one else believes in you, but you'll never succeed if you don't believe in yourself. I meant to put yourself there. I'm not sure I didn't. You'll never succeed if you don't believe in yourself. That's a huge thing. What dominates your mind. We've been over this as well, a couple of times now. What's really taking over your mind? How are you thinking about the things? Are you focusing more on why you don't deserve it, or why, if you can actually pull something off? Or are you actually dominating, thinking about, I'm doing this to get to my goal, and I'm really excited about getting there. Being positive, being really looking forward to your goals, and being excited and doing everything you can to get there. Change your thoughts and you change your world, and it's totally true. I can worry about something all day and take action, or I can, believe I'm going to do something and get really excited about it and feel like I'm going to do it and take action. Now, the action that I take in the first one will be negative, because I'm going to think I'm still nervous about doing something. I'll be tiptoeing my way around it, trying to figure out the best way to do it. But if I'm excited about it and I believe I can do it, the action I'm going to take in the second process is going to be so much more powerful and more enjoyable for myself, because I know I can achieve something. And you actually get better results. So what's actually dominating your mind is so powerful. What you're thinking about when it relates to your goals and everything, really. And we attract what we think about as well. And we're going to go a little bit deeper as we move into the chapters of all, the law of attraction and vibration as well. The law of attraction, this is a little phrase I found on the internet. Close your eyes and visualize having what you really want, and feeling the feeling of having it already. And I've already, gone into the details of how our emotions are so powerful when it comes to our goals. Focus on being grateful for what you already have and enjoy it. And then release it into the universe, and the universe is going to manifest it for you. Now, it does sound to a lot of people look at the law of attraction and vibration and think, yeah, but it's realistically, let's be honest, it's not going to happen. And it does take action as well. But if you believe you're going to get these things, you're going to take action anywhere, because you already believe you're going to have these things. So that's where the law of attraction really does work forward. And once you believe it, you're comfortable with the idea as well. And it comes to you easily. There's no negativity holding it back from you, internally or externally. And we aren't physical beings. We're spiritual beings living in a physical body. Does that make sense, MJ?
Oh yeah, I firmly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm glad I'm not the only one then. And it is true. What we see through our physical eyes is what we're creating in our minds. We're creating this image all around us of what we're seeing through our eyes, but we're actually creating our perceptions of things. We're creating how we see things. That's why two people can watch the same experience but have totally different reactions to it. It's the same scenario, because their mind is creating different images in their head. The thing here, since we cannot change reality, let's change the eyes in which we see reality. That's why some people can be so positive in life. And we all know them people who are literally unbelievably positive about everything. Oh, it's raining outside. Oh, brilliant. I love the refreshing weather when it's raining. And I've got an umbrella, so what's the problem? Oh, I just had a flat tire. Oh, brilliant. That'll give me time to call my wife and have a talk to her. I haven't spoken to her this morning enough while I'm waiting for the AA man to come. Oh no, I've just lost my job. Oh, brilliant. This will give me a chance to really move forward and do something different with my life and expand and start afresh. The same experiences what people react to, and there's that positive person or the negative person who's like, oh my god, everything's horrible. You can give them anything they want, and it'll just be something they don't want. It's like I mentioned the other week about, I met a guy from, I was doing some catering at the Royal Ascot, and one of the guys didn't like the chef he was working with, but the chef actually gave him an extra couple of hours wages for free on top, just because he was just being nice. And the chef still actually found something to complain about after getting a free, £20 free wages. He still said, oh, he was a bit smug with that, wasn't he? So that's just his perception of it, and I couldn't believe it, but that's his perception, and that's his reality of himself. Everything's negative. So, we are spiritual beings living in a physical body. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not humans having a spiritual experience. When people think about meditating, we're not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings sat in our body. We're just able to expand our awareness further because we're concentrating on our spiritual side and going deeper into it, which it relaxes a lot of people. And now into the chapter as well, David and Goliath. This is a really strong. It's probably one of the better. Like, I couldn't have probably thought of a better story, to be fair, on this that Bob used. David and Goliath, and having the belief. What's the difference between David and Goliath, MJ?
I don't know.
It's all right. It is a bit harsh. I'm putting you on the spot all the time because it is mean.
That's all right.
But for me, like, the difference was because David was like, he believed so much that he was going to win. He didn't even worry about it. And I listened to the story of David and Goliath a few different times, and everyone's like, David, what are you talking about? You can't go up there. No one's going to do that. And as a young kid as well, as like a young boy, like going to his teens, and this Goliath is, the tallest man, the strongest man who's defeated everyone. But David's like, yeah, no, it's not a problem. Picks up a few rocks, the Goliath stood there thinking, what's he going to do to me? He's not worried. He's got belief as well. He's got faith in himself. But everyone else around them is like thinking, oh my God, we're going to lose this. But no one else will fight the Goliath. So David goes up with his, his slingshot and just knocks the Goliath down dead. And because he knows for a fact that he can do it, and he's got the belief and the faith in himself that he can do it. And I mean, in those days, a slingshot was a very powerful weapon in armies, because it's a long-range weapon before bow and arrows were actually around. And he knew he could knock him down, and he could kill him. Just Goliath underestimated David, and he paid the price for it. Having that belief in the faith was so powerful. Because he didn't think twice. If he was worried every time, thinking, "Oh, I know I can do this, but he's so big, and what if I miss, and blah blah blah," he probably would do, because he'd have talked himself out of it and made these mistakes and made himself so nervous. But that belief, the unshakable belief that he could, do whatever was necessary to beat this Goliath, and he did it simply. And here's, Clarence Smithson on faith, and this was in the chapter as well. It's the ability to see the invisible and believe in the incredible that is what enables believers to receive what the masses think is impossible. Because a lot of the ideas around at the minute, where one's probably thought, that's impossible to do that. No one can do that. But it took someone to believe and have faith in themselves to actually get and achieve it. And the same can be true in our lives. Whatever we want to do, realistically, my huge goals are very small to a lot of people. Some people have already achieved the things that I want to achieve. They'll think, yeah, you can do that easily, no problem. But then there's some people that think, oh, that goal is so huge, I can barely even comprehend it. But if you believe you can do it, then you can actually get there, because our potential is, unbelievably massive. And just a little bit on faith here. From the great storehouse of the ether, the human mind is constantly attracting vibrations which harmonize with that which dominates the human mind. We're attracting things which we are thinking about, basically. Any thought, idea, plan or purpose which one holds in one's mind, one attracts. From the vibrations of the ether, which is our energy around us, or God if you like, a host of its relatives adds to these relatives to its own force. And the force becomes, it grows until it becomes the dominating, motivating master of the individual mind it's housed. That's how thoughts can become these huge plans, and you start working towards them. And it kind of almost takes over sometimes, and you've got this one idea, and this builds and builds into this massive business that people can sometimes have, like eBay. And I'm sure eBay wasn't planned to be as big as it is at the beginning. I'm sure it was just something that somebody thought of. Oh, I want to have a place where people can sell things without having to meet people in person. So I'll make up this website so people can do that. And it just expanded and expanded and expanded and grew and grew and grew, and went into all different levels. And now it's it's unbelievably massive. And there's all different aspects to it now, probably more than what was started. But that's where it's kind of thing, when it's adds these relatives to its own force and grows and grows. From everything that's happening, you start getting more ideas, because you're thinking about the idea, you get more ideas on how to expand and to grow. Thoughts which are mixed with any feelings of emotion constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether or similar or related thoughts. So you start attracting the energy towards yourself. It's the same way when you want to feel happy and you pretend to be happy, you become happy, because you're trying to get that feeling towards yourself. And it's always inside us. But there are some people who physically can't become happy because they're so determined to be negative. They don't believe they can become happy. And they never are, because that's their emotion, that's their feeling of what happiness is. They can't have it. But if you believe it and you start having a good emotion towards things, you start attracting the energy towards yourself to allow you to achieve it. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed which, if planted in fertile soil, germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again, until that which was originally one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. So powerful, like an oak tree with an acorn once. Just as the acorn contains a mighty oak tree, the self has everything it needs to fulfill its destiny. When the inner conditions are right, it naturally emerges. And I think that's the key point there, when the inner conditions are right. and there's nothing holding it back. You know, I'm sure the acorn doesn't think, oh, when am I going to become a tree? Oh, when am I going to become a tree? I can't wait to become this tree. I know it's a plant, but it knows it's going to become the tree no matter what. So it just grows and grows and grows into it. And it just becomes what it knows it can be. So what stops us from achieving the same things? Just having that belief, that's where having the faith comes into play. Knowing that you're going to become it. Not worrying about if you're going to actually achieve it or not. It's making sense, MJ?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Good, good. And I hope it's making sense to everyone else that's listening as well, because the words are quite, the words here are quite deep and almost like Old English sometimes, the way it is spoken. But it's just, it's a language that's used to, like an eloquent language to really understand the ideas, which I think is powerful because it's an eloquent idea. And I think it should really, not just think, oh, thoughts can create things. It's not as simple as that. I mean, it is that simple, but it's so much deeper than actually that simple concept. And we can have anything we want. There's 7 universal laws now, and this is what we're going to start going into, like with the coming chapters as well. Now, the law of cause and effect. I mean, we all know a lot of these laws anyway, but once you start actually using them in your own life, realizing that you have an impact on all of them, and these are like universal laws which are always here. Energy will always return to its original source. So if you're positive to everyone during your day, and everyone else is negative towards you, eventually the energy will return to you, and you're going to get good results from people. And the same way you put a lot of business effort into your work and a lot of work into your business, it's going to eventually return to its original source and become back within monetary form. Or like you're going to have a lot of people talking about your business and create a network of success. And the next one, the law of gender. Now, everything has a gestation period. We don't have the awareness to know when the spiritual seed will manifest. And this is like the gestation period. And the law of gender is basically, the life of the seed to the tree. It doesn't know how long it's going to take to become a tree, but it's going to become that. It's a law. It knows it's built to become one. It's built to become a tree. And who's to say we're not built to become successful people? When we're on this mastermind, you and everyone else that's listening to it, because we want to become successful. We've got everything inside us to become it, but we don't have the awareness to know when it's going to manifest. But know that it will manifest into our lives. We're just going to have the faith and just keep working toward it, keep doing what we're doing, and not lose faith. And not get too down if it's not going as fast as we want to go. Not trying to rush things, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. The law of perpetual transmutation. Energy is constantly flowing in and out of different forms. If you heat up water, it becomes vapor. If you cool down water, it becomes ice. And the same is true with us. We get hot when we go for a run. That's our energy speeding up and vibrating faster. And it changes our colours of our skin. The same with our thoughts as well. Our thoughts is our energy, basically. Firing off different electrons and, in our brains and different neurons in our brains. It's all energy flowing out of different forms that become actual things that we can perceive as thoughts and create into our physical manifestation. The law of polarity. I mean, this is so true, everything's got an opposite. There's a right and a wrong to every situation. There's an up and a down, there's a left and a right and a back to a front of everything. You can't have the front of a book if there's no back of the book. You can't have the left-hand side of a book if there's no right-hand side of the book. It's the opposite. It's got to have an opposite. The same way when people, focus on when someone's, for example, in a really bad mood and is really mean to a lot of people, I think they're probably very mean because they're very upset inside. It's a different concept, but it's a similar idea. They're probably mean externally because of how they feel internally. And usually they're the sort of people that need a lot more help, to be fair, than the other people. And just to continue, the law of relativity. Everything just is. We determine whether something is good or not, is good or bad. And this is a revelation for me, to be fair, the first time I heard that. I was kind of like, actually, that's kind of true. Everything just is. And you can get over things and get over arguments and things. It's just the way it is sometimes. And, wherever we are at in life, it just is the way it is. There's no point in worrying about if it's good or bad. It just is. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it stops you being so emotionally attached negatively to ideas if they're not achieving the way it is. Just know that it's going to be in place. Know that you're working toward it. It's going to happen. There's no point in worrying about it if it's not happened, because what's the point? You only attract the negativity towards yourself. The law of rhythm. Everything does operate in cycles. When you're experiencing a low cycle, be aware of it and make it last as little time as possible. When you're in a bad mood, quickly, if you're getting a short temper, just know that it's going to pass. It's a cycle. Everything in the universe has got a cycle. The planets revolve around the sun. The plants need to go through the seasons. You get it water, they go through the cold season, they go through the hot season, and they grow and die, and then come back to life as well. And the same with our lives. We could be going through a cycle of working hard and not really getting much results. But now there's a cycle, and that one's going to end. For the next one to actually come into place, when you're going to have, there's a season for sowing and a season for reaping. If you're putting a lot of effort in and not seeing many results, just know that you're putting the effort in because you're sowing the seeds to your success. And it's going to come when you're going to reap it. But it needs time to germinate, it needs time, the gestation period needs time to grow before you can reap the rewards. Because there's no point in reaping a harvest if it's not completely grown, if you just ruined it for yourself. Same for yourself, stop worrying too much about not having the things right now because it's growing. It's just got a time that it's going to take to germinate and to grow into what it needs to be. And finally, the law of vibration and the law of attraction is a secondary law to this as well. After that, the primary law is the law of attraction. Everything in the universe vibrates and emits a frequency down to the very electrons and neurons and atoms in ourselves. They're always vibrating because you can look into a microscope, and you can see the neuron in the middle, or the neutron, and the little electrons are circling around the outside, and that's inside an atom, the smallest thing we can't even comprehend to see with our physical eyes. And everything, the same. We're all vibrating at different speeds. When we get cold, we shiver. It's trying to heat up our body through movement. Everything in the universe emits a vibration and frequency. So this is the law of gender. Everything has its gestation period. When you learn to read, learn a language, or driving a car, it's a gestation period. You're learning. Our hopes and dreams need time to grow. And this is it's a powerful concept. It stops you worrying too much while you haven't achieved something, because you're just putting the effort in, and it's going to be there eventually. There's no point in giving up when you learn to read, or giving up because you can't read yet. It sounds ridiculous, but a lot of people give up on the hopes and dreams because they're not getting it as fast as they want to get it. Everything takes time to manifest. But we don't have the awareness to know when a spiritual seed will manifest. Just know that, have the faith, and this is where let go and let God does come into play. And now you're starting to understand what I meant with will and letting go and letting God, MJ. Yeah.
I struggle with this because I've got no patience. I want everything now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get very frustrated
Yeah.
if I don't get good results. So it's something that I really need to work on, is just because like my partner said, and like what we've just been saying now, it's my time to learn about my products and start sowing seeds and building it up, rather than, I'm not going to see instant results. I've just got to be patient and do other things while I'm waiting for the results to happen.
Preparing, yeah. I mean, it's for a similar example, obviously, because we can all read, we can all write, we can all walk and run around, but if we were just there and before, as we were reading, learning to read the first couple of pages of that we'd ever read in our lives, we're like, God, I wish I could just read. Why can't I just read? I wish I could just do it tomorrow. Like, it's not going to happen. You know, it's never going to happen. That's, you know, unless you're some form of born genius, which is like a million to one. It's not going to happen that you're just born able to do the things. You need to just let the process happen. It takes longer for some people to do. It takes shorter for some other people to do. But it's, you know, it's that awareness that you gotta think, right, okay, I'm just putting in the effort. And if you just like, if you're doing a lot of, you know, external, you know, talking to a lot of people and working your business, like you said, then that's great. But then you also need to work on the internal of yourself, knowing your products, knowing how to market yourself, how to market your business, how to
Yeah.
organize a routine for yourself, so you're not gonna get, you know, burnt out by talking to many people or going on Facebook, meeting people online for like hours and hours. You know, having these plans in place and getting yourself ready on every different plane to make sure the business can move forward. And then you'll actually, you know, do it easier. That's where, you know, if you're doing your homework, when you are reading, you practice your reading at certain times. Like, if you were just reading if you were learning to read and you read constantly for 8 hours, you'd be so demoralized and so, you know, you'd feel so down because you can't really read properly yet. You'd feel so rubbish. But you wouldn't want to bloody read anymore, would you? And it's the same thing
No.
with this, you know,
Yeah.
people try and do the business and do the business and do the business and do the business because they want to succeed so much. And when it doesn't take up as fast as they want it to, they get demoralized and upset and they give the business up, or they're not as focused, it's not happening as fast enough. But it's the same exact concept, you know, if it's not going to achieve it overnight, you're going to have to just do little bits at a time and learn and go back and create habits and figure out what's right and what works for yourself, you know, your own strengths and weaknesses. And then it'll manifest eventually over time, and you'll become what you need to become over time. And that's why it's essential to keep the journal for me, because then you do look back and you think, oh, I haven't achieved anything in the last 6 months. And then you look back and you usually have achieved so much and become a different person, really. You know, it's the same for a plant, like you said. You know, faith is to believe, not what you see. The reward of this faith is to see what you believe. It's powerful, but it is true. And we do talk a lot about faith in this chapter, and it is, you know, it's not religious. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. But I do believe in this faith, and it is a powerful thing. You must build an image of the person you want to become, and let that image sink into the deep recesses of your mind. And that's a really powerful opening sentence. Build the image of the person you want to become, and let it sink into your deep recesses of your mind. And the way to do this is, you know, by repetition, as we were saying earlier on in the other chapters. Repeat the ideas, create the habits internally. You know, and by doing this, you're turning over to the spirit or the energy or whatever form you want to, like the law of attraction, whatever form you believe it actually is. And the spirit will move it into form. However, you must have that faith that this will happen. It's important to understand that there's a power within you that is ever present, and it will give you everything you ask for. You know, remember, asking you shall receive. You know, once you believe you can do something, stop worrying about what you can do and stop forcing it and just do it. Sometimes some problems can only be solved if you're willing to shut your mouth and learn to open your heart and your eyes and your head. And it is true, you know, I've forced so many things in my life with coaching or with anything else, and I've realised, you know, you need to just stop, focus on the simple things, and it's going to happen eventually no matter what, because you're doing the right things at the right time. And I think that is, like I said, what we're saying, you know, the difference between will and then having the faith is powerful. And for all you listening as well, and this is why I do emphasise, you know, some of these chapters now are getting a bit deep. The first few chapters I got pretty much straight away. I'm not sure about you guys, but I understood them. You know, mean money, how much is enough, image maker. They're quite simple, complex ideas to internalise. But now when you move on to let go and letting God, you know, it's a bit more deep, and like I have to learn back and go over and over again to make sure I understand it my own way. So, you know, that's the kind of thing, you know, I want you guys to focus on. Understanding the concepts for yourself as well. You know, there is difference between having faith in something and believing you can win this and believing you can achieve things. You know, dig your well before you need it. You know, this is what I mean by your plans. You know, and internalize your routines. There's a story in the Bible where Moses is leading the people across the desert. And the people are saying, when will I have some water? And he said, well, the rains are coming. Moses said, the rains are coming. Don't, have faith. So they all circle around and camp up, and they wait for the rains to come. And obviously it's a biblical story, but it's probably based on a true story from the past. And the people wait 2 or 3 days. They're all hot, and it's in the desert, so they're all, struggling. And one of the people come to Moses and says to him, well, when are these rains going to come? So Moses says to me, do you believe that the rains are going to come? This man said, yes. So then he said, where are all the ditches? This man hadn't dug any ditches. So obviously he didn't believe the rain was coming. They were following him because he was a leader. But if it did rain, they'd have no idea what to do. Because they haven't planned ahead. They haven't got any ditches to, this is for water bottles obviously. They haven't got any ditches to store the water and to drink it. So they didn't really believe. If you believe that the rains were going to come, you'd prepare for them. The same way with your ideas of being, whatever you want to do. If you believe you're going to succeed, you still need to plan ahead. You can't just believe it and just walk into success. You still need to plan, and to become this person. If I believe I'm going to be a successful athlete, I'm going to need to work hard at the gym and go to the gym. I'm not just going to wake up tomorrow and become a successful athlete. But if I know I'm going to become one, I've got to work hard and go to the gym and do specific activities, have the right diets. You're digging your well before you need it. You're building a network before you need it with your business. You're planning ahead. For when it is taking off, people are there ready for you. They've watched you through your process, and they want to build their own businesses so you can help them as well. So when faith is mixed with your goals and persistence as well, it's literally impossible to fail. These are the different vibratory levels, our physical body. We're using our intellect to create, thoughts, goals, habits. And we're attracting the energy from the spiritual planes, from our thoughts, from our spiritual side. And, when you're not sure of yourself, you start slowing down, start attracting negative thoughts and results. If you believe, however crazy your ideas are, I said earlier on, the internet, and to be fair, everyone just has the internet and they love it. And I don't know about you, MJ, but I have no idea how it works, or how I can I can get my phone out and have access to the internet. It's not plugged into anything. It's just literally over an indivisible signal that somehow is all around us at all times. And we can go on the internet and see pictures of our friends and look and have a phone call with our friends and see them. It's literally almost unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I have no idea how it works, but it's incredible.
Yeah, and imagine before that happened, for someone to say that idea, I'm going to build something that can be the internet, that's going to give people connection to other people without any wires or anything. And we can connect to anybody around the world. And, it's almost unfathomable to believe. And it just took someone to think of it and to believe it. However crazy your ideas are, you're going to achieve it. And now we just take it as second nature. It's just something that's there, and we all take it for granted. But it's unbelievable, really, if you think about what it is compared to how before humans are actually in the last 100 years, how far we've come as humans. It's unbelievable, and it's all down to this faith that we can achieve things because of what we've already achieved before. And now that we've got these sort of things, now I heard the other day about people, planning space projects. So people used to imagine, going to live on Mars once the Earth gets all destroyed of its nutrients. But I heard the other day about, what we'd really probably do is there'd be no point in moving to Mars. We'd probably just stay on the space stations and travel through the universe or travel through our galaxy, harvesting asteroids for precious minerals. And they're actually making these plans that are going to happen, to start building these stations that are going to start harvesting minerals from asteroids that can sustain life. Going forward, until there's it can just literally sustain it. It's self-sustaining. You think, God, it's just amazing, but why not? If we can achieve things like the internet and flying around and, Concorde and, running a mile, 100-meter race in 9 seconds, what? We can achieve anything really. You just got to believe it. Test yourself. What would be a great? This is why a lot of goal cards are quite cool for me. Write down like my initial goal. I didn't believe it at first, and it took me to believe it. And I started to work towards it, and I achieved my goal before I needed to achieve it, like within a few weeks beforehand. And I was like, my God, that's unbelievable how I actually achieved that, because it was such a huge thing for me. My goal at that time. It's like, man, how did I even achieve that? How have I come that far? From knowing nothing to knowing what I know now. Such a mind-blowing experience, but then once you do that, you think, well, what else can I achieve? When you set your goals higher and higher and you go deeper and deeper into your goals, and it's powerful once you believe what you can do and what you're capable of. Smart people will succeed when they look for opportunities when other people think they will fail. If you believe that you can have a faith in yourself that's unshakable, it's such a powerful thing. So you'll look at opportunities differently to other people will do. People think, oh, that's going to be really difficult, but you'll see, I can do this, no problem. And because no one else will try, you'll win every time. Every single time you'll win. Because if you're thinking, you're internally, this is going to be really hard, everyone else is going to think the same thing. And this is what I was saying about networking. 99% of networkers fail because they don't follow up with people. They don't carry on that relationship. If they start a relationship with somebody, you say, hi, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It goes on and they start saying, what do you do for a living? Oh, I've got an international business. Somebody says, oh, okay, what is it? This is like the pitch usually for network marketers, by the way, in case you were wondering. I've got an international business which I run and I help people grow their businesses. You say, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Specifically it's meant to. That sounds interesting. What business is it? Oh, I can show you a presentation if you'd like, just to get more of an idea. I just help people to better themselves, to become business people and to earn a lot of money while working at home. Like, oh, okay, that sounds fantastic. But if they say no, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not really interested in that. It's not really for me. I know people in network marketing. Then the people just not speak to them again and not talk to him. Or they could just build a relationship with that person. Say, no, I understand. I know it's a bit of a it was a bit of a shot in the dark. I'm just trying to show you what I do as a person. So how's your day going? Build a relationship with these people. Have some trust. And then people might actually know other people who think, oh, I know Josh is a good guy. He's not too pushy with his business, but he's got a good business going. And he helps people get him to where they need to be. I'll put you in contact with him and helping you. But everyone else fails because they see an opportunity of like, oh, they're not interested now. What's the point? If you see it in a different way, you can achieve anything by how you look at things and having that faith that you can actually achieve something because you're a powerful person. And I mean, that was just a random concept that I got out there, but you can put into any concept you want and look for opportunities everywhere. And if you believe you can achieve something, or if you believe something's going to be really hard to do, like I said, 95% of other people as well have thought the same thing and probably quit. So a lot of the time, succeeding just means showing up, and talking to people and just keeping contact with people, and eventually it'll come to you. The seed will manifest itself into reality. Spread your good energies. This is a good one, kind of funny picture saying, energy is contagious, positive and negative alike. I will forever be mindful of what and who I'm allowing into my space. It's something you should be thinking about all the time. Of the people around you and the thoughts that you're thinking and the energy you have. Because it is contagious, we all know it. If somebody comes up to you and starts complaining about somebody, and you kind of think, oh yeah, they are a bit annoying, and you complain about them as well, you feel pretty negative afterwards because the negative energy is within you. But if somebody says to you, oh, I'm really annoyed with this person, they're so lazy, but you think, no, it's positive, I'm going to be positive. So, yeah, I know they can be a bit lazy at times, but they're a really good person, and they put a lot of effort in, so I can understand why they would be quite tired. I'd probably say tired rather than lazy, to be fair, wouldn't you agree? And the other person's like, yeah, I probably would agree, actually. They do a lot of work. And your positivity has overtaken their negative thoughts. Now they're being positive. Yeah, I do agree that they are quite good. They're not, they aren't really lazy. I'm probably wrong about that one. It's contagious, our energy, and having a positive energy to move forward, in even with business, it's contagious, and you attract a lot of people into your life by just being positive, and you push a lot of people away by being negative, even if they don't tell you. It's such a powerful thing, and once you become really positive, you can pick up energy really quickly, and even before you do, you can tell when someone's going to be a bit of a bore, a bit of a drain, a bit of a complainer, and no one really wants a complainer in their life. Let's be honest. So if you are that person, then you're going to stop doing that, because you're going to just push people away that could potentially help you. And, how can we believe something that we don't currently or are struggling to believe? And this is what we mentioned before, NJ, with and the rest of you guys. Auto-suggestion, affirmations, and saying to yourself what you need to achieve, or what you want to believe, or who you want to become, and repeating and repeating and repeating it. Have you been working with your affirmations, MJ, in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, and I've been doing, actually I'm quite proud of myself because I've been doing this very diligently, like reading my affirmations and saying them, and I listen to this Law of Attraction Wealth affirmations on YouTube as well, which means I can go about my business while listening to that and stuff. So.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Have you found it becomes easier to listen to after a while? You don't think about it, it's just kind of something you do.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, I've got getting into a good habit with it. So
Exactly, and that just says everything. You're getting into a good habit because you've been diligent for 2 weeks. You start to become easier, and you start to get these habits. And if you do them every day and keep going and keep going and keep going, it becomes easier, more normal, more natural. And then you're just giving these such powerful ideas to your subconscious mind. You're going to have all these things, that you're going to do these things, and you're going to attract the things into your life that you need to attract. Auto-suggestion calms the storm of thoughts that blow endlessly through my mind. It progressively relaxes my body and alters my state of consciousness, so I'm receptive to the positive programs that I want to install. You get so comfortable with your goals and your ideas and your beliefs, so comfortable with them, it just becomes natural. And when they happen, you don't feel nervous and scared and like, oh my god, this is actually happening. You're just like, yeah, it's happening because it was always going to. But I now believe internally that I'm going to achieve it. Because you repeated it enough, that many times, that you've started to become that person already. But it literally, like you said then, MJ, it takes a couple of weeks to just start doing it and doing it. It starts already to become easier. And this is why we go through the chapters, like I said earlier on, once a week, and not too much in too much of a short space. It gives you the time to repeat it to yourself, and to go over it and go over it and go over it, and really just start thinking, okay, now I start to get it, and now it's becoming easier, and now I'm starting to easily write goals for myself, small goals, goals for a week, where I want to be, with my affirmations, little goals, and you start having goals everywhere, and the more goals you have, and the more clarity you have, the more you're going to get exactly what you want. Like I said earlier on, with the, having your ship set for America or set for New York, you're more specific to exactly where you want to get to. So the clarity is huge. And that's just the same thing again here, the affirmations are in the cloud initially. You've got these thought things going on, and you turn them into an affirmation using your intellect and putting it in with a goal using your mind. You're repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. You turn it over to your subconscious mind, which internally becomes who you are, because you've internalized it so much, it just becomes natural and it becomes what you do all the time. Then you start having results through your physical action, and then you get, literally by what you're thinking about is what you're getting results from. Your affirmations are becoming who you are. And we can't outperform our own self-image, like we said before. If we believe in ourselves, we can do anything. We will achieve anything. But if there's something still holding you back, you gotta really just start believing in yourself, and believing that you are that lion, and believing you can actually achieve everything. And that's where your affirmations, that's how powerful the affirmations are. It does start inside. It does start, once you write something on the card that you don't believe, once you repeat it and repeat it and look at it and look at it and look at it, you start to believe it. You start to think, okay, I will just start doing this, and you start to become it. And that changes who you are as a person. And that is a powerful part of this, and having that faith and building that faith. It doesn't come overnight, but building it, building your why as well, why you want to become something. And that really enhances why your self-image as well. And then it just moves on to the next chapter of expecting an abundance, which is a good thing. And all these chapters are quite closely linked. They flow quite well into each other. Meaning money flows into how much money, quotation, money, which floats really nice into your imagination faculty, which is your image maker. And once you've got an image in your head, develop that faith through your let go and let God. And once you've got the faith to achieve something, then you expect an abundance. They're all flowing through to each other quite nicely. It's a good process. So expecting abundance is a really good next chapter here. Now, how have you found the mastermind tonight, MJ? You picked up some stuff, got a bit more clarity, or?
Yeah, it's making more sense. I can see where I'm going wrong with being impatient, and I need to have more faith that it will happen. I've just got to wait.
And it is tough. It's tough, because you want to achieve these things. And I'm exactly the same. You want to achieve things pretty quick, but it does. Like some things you can achieve really quickly. But then again, the more that you really want something, the more you invest into it. Sometimes it will take a lot longer, but you'll achieve such better results because of the effort you've put in initially and the amount of time you've given to an idea. I'm sure, to be fair, MJ, just for example, like with this, if you woke up tomorrow and you spoke to 10 people about your business and they all signed up, and then they started asking you questions about the products and started to ask how to build your business, it'd be quite a scary thing for yourself, am I right?
Oh yeah.
It'd be
I'm
good.
still learning about all the products and stuff.
It'd be good that you got business. We'd be thinking, God, actually, I wasn't ready for this. I don't think I'm ready to help all these people. And you get a bit nervous, and you'd be thinking, oh God, am I doing the right thing here? So sometimes it's the process of building that initial first client. So when you get that first client, you're ready for them. Then once you've had one for a while, and you get another one, you've learned from the previous experience, and you learn to become better at what you're doing. So when you got your 10th one, you're comfortable with being 10th. And it does take time, and sometimes you need to have that time as well for yourself.
That's true, yeah.
Just to really achieve it. But yeah, the next chapter, Expecting Abundance, is a good one. It's an essential part of this to expect, a lot, not just to expect a little bit. You're thinking bigger, having a bigger picture. Similar towards the chapters of, how much is enough, but then to expect using your faith as well and moving forward. But I'm looking forward to really having a lot more depth in this one as well. How are we feeling in general, MJ, about everything?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a lot to. It's quite deep. There's a lot to take on. But I'm getting there slowly, putting things into practice.
Good.
And working on it. But yeah, I've just got to keep reading over the chapters and to remind myself of things that I should be doing or go over things that I didn't understand or whatever. So.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. I say for everyone else that's listening as well, that's perfect. And you're really starting to get this, and you're starting to move forward with it. And it's good that you really are. It's good that you're struggling sometimes with the ideas, because it just shows that you're trying to comprehend it. And then the more you do it, the easier it will get. And it's good that you're not just skipping. You're not just reading and thinking, oh yeah, that's good. You're actually really trying to think, okay, how is this going to relate to my life specifically? And to struggle with it means that you're really caring about it, and you're really actually thinking about, okay, this is going to help me. I'm really trying to figure out how exactly I can really move it to my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just about what you are doing, it's about what you're not doing.
No, exactly, that's true.
If I'm not being patient, that's negative, isn't it? Because I've got negative emotions and mental images, so that's something I need to work on.
But no, that's good. Like I said, feel free to post how your week's getting on and how you're processing things. And the same with you guys. But I know, like I say, a lot of you guys have got busy lives. I know it's tough to get in for these meetings when it is live because we've all got a lot of commitments in our lives and we're all doing lots of things to help work in our business and ourselves. But I'd love, to get the interaction in the group going as well, so we can really, bounce off each other, especially because we're not talking as much every week. It'd be good to just share the ideas and to really get the ideas flowing as well, because you'd be amazed once it starts coming off, then the ideas will start flowing. You'll start having a lot of ideas just in your week, bouncing ideas off each other as well, and how you are each processing it to your own different perspectives. And it'll really help each other just moving forward as well. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for now. I'll release this the audio and the next chapter as well, and I'll release this recording out as well. MJ, if you wanted to have a recap at some point, for you and the
Yeah, I prefer to read, but yeah, I might have a look at the recorder. What is it? A recording of Bob
the audio.
Proctor.
Yeah, it's Bob Proctor speaking. Yeah, and I say it's just a different perspective. Like I say, you can read something and listen to something and get a different perspective on the same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, I'm more of a listener, but I can read stuff as well. I like reading. So it's just a case of it's up to you, but it's just using all your senses engaged.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like to read because you can keep going over something.
yeah, no, that's true.
Whereas if someone's talking, you're missing stuff. So.
Yeah, you can wander away entirely, can't you, as well?
Yeah.
You get distracted easily. I'm a distractible person. But yeah, that's great. Have you got anything else to add to this, MJ? Or are you looking? Are you all good?
Just quite a few years ago, I was watching an interview with Bill Clinton, and the interviewer asked him, um, sort of the question, "What's the key to your success?" And he said, "Well, my parents brought me up to know that I can achieve anything I want."
Mm,
And I think that is that's how I'm raising my children,
yeah.
to believe in themselves, because I think that is so important, and that's not something I had as a child,
Mm,
and so it's something I'm having to learn to do now.
yeah. And you'll probably
And
take a
so,
lot.
yeah, you've really got to have that self-belief,
Mm,
and believe that if you want, you can achieve what you want to achieve.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's brilliant. I appreciate you sharing that. And it is true as well, and like you probably have a lot of value from it as well. Like when you're teaching your kids it, you probably learn a lot yourself as well, with the ideas, Believe in yourself, kids, you can do anything. And you'll start
Yeah,
thinking, God, I can do anything as well, you'll start to believe in yourself a lot more as you're trying to tell people these ideas. Like me teaching this stuff really reinforces it on myself as well. Because when you teach something, you really look at something differently as well. So it's great that you are like that with your kids, and that'll probably really help you a lot moving forward with your own self-development.
I think when you're teaching something, you're under more pressure to practice it and do it.
No, it's true though, it's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for now, MJ. I'm really glad that we had the interaction, and everyone else that listened, I'm really glad. Hope that you enjoy it, and feedback would be fantastic. Let me know how it all went for you, and answer any questions you do have as well if you're not sure of anything. But for now, MJ, as well, I'll have to let you go, and I look forward to catching up to you in the week. Okay.
Okay then. Thanks
All
very
right.
much. Bye.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.